Sean Strickland fell short in his opportunity to regain the UFC middleweight championship on Saturday at UFC 312 in a unanimous decision loss to Dricus Du Plessis in their rematch of a fight 13 months ago at UFC 297, where Du Plessis earned a split decision victory. Strickland felt very strongly he was wronged that night by the judges, and that a headbutt that opened a cut around his eye was a huge factor in the defeat. We land here at the rematch, and despite all the comments and assurances that he would fight differently and go after Du Plessis, we pretty much saw the same version of Strickland that we are used to seeing in most of his fights now, and it was only made worse by a big shot in the fight that broke his nose, and that was a huge obstacle he tried to work around and had to overcome. Ultimately, he made it to the end of the fight, but it was clear as day that he did not get the job done this time around, and now falls to 0-2 in fights against Du Plessis, and is left in a difficult spot for sure as long as this reign of Du Plessis continues. I can't see a world where the UFC puts this fight together once again, so Strickland's going to have to kind of figure things out where he goes from here. The upside for him, no shortage of big name fights, big name opportunities for him. My immediate thought after this is you look at the Robert Whittaker fight. He said in an interview with me ahead of this that Whittaker fought like a can when he faced Du Plessis, and he's said many things about Robert Whittaker over the years. So I think given both of them are kind of shooed out of the title picture, coming off losses to who we expect to be the next title fight between Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev, it makes a lot of sense there. I think the only alternative that you could potentially look at would be a rematch with Strickland and Israel Adesanya. I think that would kind of come down to timing. When does Adesanya want to return after his recent loss last week to Nassourdine Imavov? How long is it going to take for Strickland to recover from the damage to his nose in this fight, surgery, all those different factors that come into play? But either way, I think Strickland can't really go wrong with either of these fights. They both have a storyline, are intriguing former champions like himself, so it all makes sense here. Obviously a brutal loss for him in terms of the title hopes and falling short of that gold, but I think he's still going to remain a player in this middleweight division as long as he wants to be. So a tough night for Sean Strickland, a bloody night for Sean Strickland, and he does not leave Australia this time around as the UFC middleweight champion as he did in his previous trip out there for UFC Gold.